Welcome in Kyler Staley from thehoosier.com. How's it going, man?
That's good. How are you guys doing?
Cannot complain. Nobody wants to listen to it. Indiana with a tight one last night. A lot of people, I haven't looked elsewhere, but some people are going nuts over it. And I'm like, I just, that one was 1-1. I turned it off. I'm like, okay, they won. That's all that matters. That's a game they just needed to win. And they did it by playing tough, hard-nosed defense the whole game, even though the offense was crap for the most part. But at the end of the game, they shut Minnesota down. They went 0 for, I don't even remember.
0 for 11.
7-11. Yeah, 0 for 11. They missed their last 11 shots. And is that all Indiana? No, but I guarantee you Indiana gets some credit for that. And Indiana, and on the other side, Indiana finished the game on a 7-0 run. So they took care of business.
Yeah, they did. And I mean, it was an ugly game last night, let's just be honest. But, Indiana teams in the past, when they face adversity like that, they would have rolled over. And I think Trace Jackson Davis has said it multiple times this year. He said it last night. Indiana just found a way to get it done. You go back to the last stretch there where Race Thompson ties the game at the line. Only fitting that he was the one that kind of shoot those free throws, in his hometown. But you see that he misses that last one. Trace Jackson Davis gets that crucial rebound, puts it up for 2. And then Miller Kopp, I think, with the biggest rebound of the game on the defensive end, got that rebound. And that's the things, with Miller Kopp, I know he's a hot topic and everything like that, but he shot it.
You know what? If he plays like last night, he'll be a hot topic in the opposite direction, because what he did last night, he has not been doing. And it was straight in the first few minutes of the ball game. He attempts the 3-point shot that he missed, but they get the offensive rebound, feed it right back to him, and he drains it. And I sent out a tweet saying, keep shooting. He needs to, that's it. He doesn't have to force shots, but just take them when you get them. And last night, he put up 9 shots. Yep. That's, if he gets up 6 or 7 a game, that's going to be fine. 9's great, but he has to get shots off. He just has to. And last night he did. He was looking to shoot the ball, looked confident, and he's had a little bit of a swagger the last couple of games. And again, if people can't see the difference, then I don't know what they're watching. This whole team is kind of playing with I'm tired of being punked, and I'm gonna punk you.
Yeah, you're absolutely seeing that, and you're seeing that through Trace Jackson Davis, a lot. He's playing like a beast right now. He's just got that mentality you see on the floor where he wants to win these games. Losing these types of games to Minnesota on the road is not an option with this Indiana team. And you saw that they fought adversity last night. The Coach Woodson not there. Minnesota, give all the credit in the world to them. They competed, and Robbie Hummel said it a ton last night. Minnesota came in to compete, and that's exactly what they did. Minnesota was a tough team, but Indiana, they found a way to get it done. It wasn't the prettiest shooting night, 41%, 29% from 3. That they didn't shoot very well at the free throw line, but the defense, like you said, it carried, and that's what really brought them to the win. So now Indiana's just rolling right now.
Couple of questions a lot of people have. Why did Malik Renew disappear in the second half after going 4 of 5, scoring 10 points? The only points off the bench for Indiana last night, I will add as well to that. You don't see him in the second half. Tamar Bates plays only 10 minutes in the game. Jordan Geronimo plays 6 minutes in the game. We heard a lot of talk about matchups, but how can there be a matchup issue with Tamar Bates or Jordan Geronimo?
Yeah, little weird, especially with Malik Renew. Those guys, both him and Geronimo not getting any minutes hardly in the second half. Especially with Malik, sticking with him. He was dominant that first half. Once Indiana kind of figured it out on the offensive end, when they were feeding the post, they were going to score. And both Malik and Trace Jackson Davis were both feeding in that area. I would like to think from a coaching standpoint, what Yasir Roseman said made a little bit of sense. If you did notice, if people were watching the game, Minnesota did switch to a smaller lineup. So when you look at that situation, you would expect Race Thompson to be that guy. Even Jordan Geronimo, I don't know how well Malik would have, benefited with that smaller lineup. On the offensive end, he would have been fine, but on the defensive end, that's where it really mattered. But yeah, you just would have liked to have seen him get some minutes. Malik Renew's been one of the more improved players for Indiana these past 4 games. He's starting to really get it. He's playing big boy ball. He's playing Big Ten ball. But yeah, just a little odd there. But I mean, the most important thing is that Indiana, they stuck with kind of their starting unit there. They rolled with them, and they just figured out a way to get it done. So that's the way I would look at it if I was a fan.
I hear that, and then. And I've said this story 1,000 times during the broadcast today already, but all right, who was that? I just saw the comment. David says Tamar was in foul trouble. Well, he only had 2 personal fouls, and I heard that from Yasir Roseman saying that they were driving and we were getting in foul trouble. Not one player on this team had more than 2 fouls except for one, Jalen Hood-Schifino, with 3 fouls. Everybody else only had 1 or 2 fouls for the entire game. So, not sure that quite buy that.
In the first half, maybe. But, yeah, definitely not a factor in the second half.
And so I don't understand the reasoning for the player, the rotations. Just a little, like I said, it doesn't. I'm not trying to second guess, but it makes you wonder because, first of all, Yasir Roseman has never been in that position before, he said in the postgame interview. He has never been a head coach at any level. I think he said he coached some 12-year-olds once, which that's pretty surprising that he has never been in a position of being a head coach, of making in-game decisions, of making in-game adjustments, of making the substitutions and the patterns. I don't know if people realize how difficult that has to be, doing that for the first time, basically, under the big stage of a Big Ten game on the road that you have to win because you just can't lose it.
Right. And you see Roseman, he's been riding that assistant coach train for a long time. I mean, he's got 21 years of experience. I mean, he's coached at some big programs, Oregon, Clemson, Georgia, just recently at Alabama before he came to Indiana. So he's got that experience. But yeah, I couldn't imagine being thrown into that type of situation, especially at the last minute like that. When you expect Coach Woodson, even the players, they really expect Coach Woodson to be there, and he's not there. So I mean, yes, his rotations were a little shaky, and it's not all on him. Kenya Hunter, Brian Walsh, they have some say in that. It's usually the assistant coaches that kind of run the rotations, part of that, and then the head coach makes the final decision. So I mean, it was a team effort, with the assistant coaches and whatnot. But I mean, I think he just had the mindset of says, I'm going to run with my starting unit. I'm going to run with my experienced guys. And that's what he did. In those type of games, the ones that you feel like you should win by 20 plus points, but the other teams kind of, they're competing and they're giving you more of a fight than what you expected. You kind of want your experienced guys to be in there to want to make plays, especially with Trace Jackson Davis fed him the ball nearly every possession. You knew what you needed to do to get the win. Yasir Roseman, I mean, he coached the best game I think he probably could have in a way. So, but it's just an ugly Big Ten game, and Indiana's experienced guys is what led them to get the win there.
Well, I'm going to say good morning, hello to Fazan Masri, listening in Amman, Jordan.
Wow.
My friend, if you can listen to us in Amman, Jordan, I'm definitely giving you a shout out. I hope I'm pronouncing your first name correctly. Fozan Masri. Appreciate you, man. Wow. I don't think I've ever spoken with anyone in Jordan. So now I kind of have. Appreciate that. Appreciate you following us along. Tomorrow, what is today? Today's Thursday. No, yeah. Saturday, Indiana will take on Ohio State. They're back at it. This time they're at home against a team that has lost 6 of the last 7. On paper, that sounds great, but Ohio State is a dangerous team. They've lost games, and I'm like, ooh, wow, they shouldn't have lost. Can't believe they lost that one. They've been on the wrong side of a couple of games. Where did I have the standings somewhere? They are all the way down to 11, 12. 12th. They're in 12th place in the Big Ten now at 11-9 overall, 3-6 in conference play, and 1-5 on the road. They're not a good road team, but they're still a dangerous team. And Indiana, and I would imagine that Chris Holtman was paying attention to what happened up in Minneapolis last night.
Yeah, I think we found out last night that every single team in the Big Ten is pretty dangerous, right? So this is obviously a game that Indiana can't take lightly.
They're dangerous when you don't hit shots.
Yes, I agree with that. But I think Indiana needs to know Ohio State's going to come into this game desperate. The kind of game that Indiana had versus Wisconsin where they were desperate for a win. Ohio State's going to have that same mentality. They are a good team. They are a talented team. I think the thing is with them is they've just been inconsistent. I think injuries have kind of played a part in that for them. And they got a young team. They got a pretty young roster. So it's just kind of trying to fit that. But Ohio State, they're usually pretty solid. They're probably one of the better coached teams in the Big Ten year in and year out. So it's going to be a raucous game. Indiana's got a real big opportunity here to get on a 5-game winning streak, to get 2 wins above 500. And I think Indiana's really prepared for that. They're ready to just go on this streak right now. They got to take care of business at home moving forward if they want to have aspirations to get into that top 2 or 3 in the Big Ten. And this is the perfect game to do that. They got to take care of this easier stretch that they have before, February comes around. You start off with Purdue, and then after that, it's a dogfight that whole month. So Indiana's got to take care of wins like these if they want to, compete for that top 2 or 3 spot in the Big Ten.